How ordinary people build 10K without a high salary, powerful finance. Most people believe you need a six-figure income to build followers. That belief is comfortable. It removes responsibility. It allows people to blame their paycheck instead of their behavior. But the truth is simpler and far less glamorous. Ordinary people build heka the same way bridges are built, slowly, deliberately, and without drama. The first principle is this: live far below your means, not slightly below. Far below, if you earn 40,000, spend 49,000, you are poor. If you're 40,000 and live on 40,000, you are powerful. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the seed of your future freedom. Most financial failure is not mathematical. It is psychological. People want to look successful before they are successful. They upgrade their lifestyle before they upgrade their net worth. They finance cars, chase trends, and decorate their ego. The ordinary person who reaches 10K resists this temptation. They understand that every unnecessary dollar spent today steals $10 from tomorrow. Second, avoid stupidity before chasing brilliance. You do not need genius investments. You do not need to outsmart Wall Street. You simply need to avoid catastrophic mistakes. Avoid high-interest debt. Avoid speculative gambling disguised as investing. Avoid lifestyle inflation every time you get a raise. Avoid friends who normalize financial chaos. If you consistently avoid the obvious traps, you are already ahead of most people. Financial success is often subtraction, not addition. Remove bad habits. Remove unnecessary expenses. Remove impulsive decisions. What remains is surplus capital, and surplus capital is the raw material of wealth. Third, let compounding do the heavy lifting. Compounding is not exciting in year 1. It is barely noticeable in year 2. But by year 10, it becomes undeniable. If an ordinary person invests $5 a month consistently into broad, productive assets, they are not relying on luck. They are relying on mathematics. The market does not require brilliance. It requires discipline. The key is consistency without interruption. You invest when the market is up. You invest when it is down. You invest when headlines scream panic. You invest when your coworkers are euphoric. Ordinary people fail because they stop. They interrupt compounding with fear. They sell during downturns. They hesitate during uncertainty. The person who reaches 10K is not fearless. They are rational. They understand that volatility is temporary, but discipline compounds permanently. Fourth, build patience, not excuses. Building 10K on a modest income might take 7 to 10 years. That timeline discourages people. They want immediate transformation. They want dramatic breakthroughs. But wealth built slowly is wealth built safely. If you save and invest $6,000 per year, in 10 years you've contributed $6,000. With modest returns, compounding can push that toward or beyond $1,000, no miracle required. Just time. Time is the friend of the disciplined and the enemy of the impulsive. Ordinary people who succeed financially treat saving like a non-negotiable bill. They pay themselves first, not last, not if there's extra. First, they automate investments so emotions cannot interfere. They design systems that protect them from themselves. This is critical. Do not rely on willpower. Design structure. If money sits in your checking account, you will spend it. If it automatically transfers into investments, it quietly builds your future. And here is something most people ignore. Income growth still matters, but it comes after discipline. Once you control spending and build investing habits, then you look for ways to increase skills, increase value, and increase earnings. Every raise becomes fuel, not lifestyle decoration. An ordinary person who saves 20% of a modest salary will outperform a high earner who saves nothing. Wealth is not about status. It is about surplus. When you reach on how invested, something powerful happens. The money begins to contribute meaningfully. Returns become visible. Momentum builds. Confidence grows. But the real transformation is internal. You realize you are no longer financially fragile. You are no longer one emergency away from collapse. You have options. And options are the true definition of wealth. So if you're ordinary, good. Stay ordinary. Do not chase flashy strategies. Do not chase quick riches. Do not envy high earners with no savings. Instead, spend carefully, avoid stupidity, invest consistently, wait patiently. The formula is not complicated, it's just uncomfortable. Most people will not do it because it requires humility today for freedom tomorrow. But if you do, if you commit to rational behavior over emotional impulse, 10K is not a fantasy, it is a milestone, and once you reach it, you will understand something profound. The money did not change your life. The discipline did. Most people do not fail financially because they earn too little. They fail because they spend without intention. Living far below your means is not about deprivation. It is about control. It is about deciding that your future matters more than your present impulses. The world will constantly invite you to upgrade your lifestyle. A bigger house, a newer car, better clothes, frequent dining out. None of these are evil, but all of them compete with your long-term freedom. When you live ruthlessly below your means, you create distance between income and expenses. That distance is power. If you earn 50,000 and spend 49,000, you are trapped. If you earn 50,000 and live on 30,000, you are building leverage. The gap becomes savings. Savings become investments. Investments become independence. Ruthless does not mean careless. It means intentional. You question every recurring expense. You examine subscriptions. You negotiate bills. You avoid lifestyle inflation when your salary increases. Each dollar saved is not just a dollar kept. It is a future worker that can compound for decades. Intentional living begins with clarity. You know what truly matters to you. Maybe it is security. Maybe it is early retirement. Maybe it is starting a business. When your goals are clear, unnecessary spending becomes easier to reject. You stop buying to impress people who are not paying your bills. Ordinary earners who reach meaningful financial milestones master this principle. They choose modest homes. They drive reliable cars instead of flashy ones. They cook more often than they eat out. They delay gratification without resentment. They understand that temporary restraint creates permanent strength. Living below your means also protects you from fear. Emergencies happen. Jobs change. Markets fluctuate. If your lifestyle consumes everything you earn, stress becomes constant. But if you have margin, uncertainty becomes manageable. Margin is peace of mind. Many people confuse comfort with consumption. Real comfort comes from stability, not from spending. A large savings account provides deeper sleep than a luxury purchase ever will. Financial resilience is quiet but powerful. Being intentional requires systems. You automate savings. You invest before you spend. You track expenses without emotion. You treat saving as a mandatory bill, not an optional leftover. This removes the need for constant willpower. There will be social pressure. Friends may upgrade faster than you. Colleagues may appear more successful. Ignore appearances. Many impressive lifestyles are financed by debt and anxiety. Quiet discipline often looks ordinary from the outside. The key is consistency. Small daily decisions compound. Choosing a modest apartment, skipping an impulse purchase, investing a portion of every paycheck. Over time, these decisions separate you from the average path. Living far below your means is not about shrinking your life. It is about expanding your future options. It gives you the freedom to walk away from bad jobs, to handle crises calmly, to invest patiently, to think long term. Ruthless and intentional spending transforms an ordinary income into a wealth-building machine. Not through luck, not through brilliance, through discipline practiced repeatedly until it becomes identity. Most financial disasters do not come from a lack of intelligence. They come from unforced errors. Before you attempt brilliance, eliminate stupidity. This principle is simple, but it requires humility. It asks you to focus less on winning big and more and avoiding catastrophic loss. In investing and in life, survival comes first. If you avoid major mistakes, average decisions can still produce excellent results. But if you make one devastating error, years of effort can disappear. Stupidity in finance often looks attractive. High-interest debt feels manageable at first. Speculative investments promise fast wealth. Leveraging money to chase trends creates the illusion of sophistication. Yet behind these decisions is impatience and ego. Brilliance is optional. Avoiding stupidity is mandatory. Start with debt. Credit card balances that compound at extreme interest rates destroy progress silently. The mathematics are brutal. If you are paying double-digit interest, you are working for the lender, not for yourself. Eliminating such debt is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Next is speculation disguised as investing. Many people confuse excitement with opportunity. They chase hot stocks, cryptocurrencies, or business ideas they barely understand. They rely on tips, headlines, or social media enthusiasm. This is not strategy. It is gambling with better marketing. If you do not understand how an asset produces value, you should not own it. Complexity is often a warning sign, not an advantage. Another common form of stupidity is lifestyle inflation. Income rises and expenses immediately follow. A raise becomes a new car payment. A bonus becomes a luxury vacation. Nothing accumulates. Wealth requires that income growth outpace lifestyle growth. Ego is expensive. Trying to impress others can quietly sabotage financial stability. Large houses, branded clothes, and visible status symbols often create invisible stress. True financial strength is rarely loud. Avoiding stupidity also means building buffers. An emergency fund prevents minor setbacks from becoming crises. Insurance protects against rare but severe events. These decisions may seem conservative, but they preserve progress. Patience is a defense against foolishness. Many bad decisions are made in moments of urgency. Market volatility triggers panic selling. Sudden opportunities create fear of missing out. When you slow down, you reduce errors. The goal is not perfection, it is resilience. You will make small mistakes, everyone does. But by avoiding the obvious traps, you prevent irreversible damage. Financial success is often about what you do not do. Do not borrow excessively. Do not speculate blindly. Do not overspend to impress. Do not interrupt compounding with emotional reactions. Once stupidity is removed, ordinary intelligence is enough. Steady saving, diversified investing, and disciplined behavior become effective because nothing is sabotaging them. In a world obsessed with extraordinary returns, remember that avoiding ruin is the foundation of lasting wealth. The person who consistently sidesteps major mistakes can outperform the person chasing brilliance without caution. Before you try to be exceptional, make sure you are not careless. Stability first. Strength second. Growth follows naturally when losses are controlled. Compounding is quiet. It does not announce itself with excitement. It does not promise overnight transformation. In the beginning, it feels almost insignificant. But over time, it becomes one of the most powerful forces in finance. Most people underestimate compounding because they focus on immediate results. They invest for a few months and expect visible change. When progress looks slow, they lose interest. They interrupt the process. That interruption is the real enemy. Compounding rewards consistency, not intensity. When you invest regularly, your money begins to earn returns. Those returns, when left untouched, begin to earn their own returns. Growth builds upon growth. The snowball starts small, but with enough time and steady movement, it becomes massive. The key is duration. Time is not just helpful in compounding, it is essential. Without time, returns cannot multiply. With time, even modest contributions can become substantial. An ordinary income can produce extraordinary results if given enough years and discipline. Investing a fixed amount every month may feel repetitive. It may feel boring, but boring is often effective. Markets fluctuate. Some years will deliver strong returns. Others will test your patience. Compounding does not require perfect timing. It requires participation. You continue investing during uncertainty. You continue investing during optimism. You remain steady. Emotions disrupt compounding. Fear leads to selling during downturns. Greed leads to overexposure during bubbles. Both behaviors interrupt the mathematical process. The investor who remains rational allows compounding to operate without interference. Small differences in return rates also matter greatly over long periods. An additional percentage point may seem trivial in a single year. Over decades, it can translate into significant wealth. This is why minimizing fees and avoiding unnecessary costs is critical. Every dollar saved from expenses continues working for you. Reinvestment is the engine of growth. Dividends, interest, and capital gains must remain invested. Spending returns too early slows momentum. Patience strengthens acceleration. Compounding also applies to habits. Regular saving builds discipline. Discipline strengthens decision-making. Better decisions improve financial outcomes. Improvement stacks gradually. The early stage of compounding demands faith. Results are not dramatic. Progress feels slow, but as years pass, growth becomes visible. The curve begins to rise more sharply. What once felt insignificant now feels powerful. Many people quit just before momentum becomes meaningful. They underestimate how close they are to acceleration. Staying consistent separates long-term builders from short-term participants. Automation helps protect compounding. When investments occur automatically, there is less temptation to pause. Systems reduce emotional interference. You do not need extraordinary talent to benefit from compounding. You need persistence. You need the willingness to delay gratification. You need the discipline to let money grow without constant adjustment. Compounding does the heavy lifting when you step aside and allow it to function. Your role is simple but demanding. Contribute regularly. Avoid major mistakes. Reinvest returns. Stay patient. Over time, effort decreases while results increase. That is the quiet magic of compounding. It transforms steady action into substantial progress, not through speed, through endurance. Building wealth on an ordinary income is not a test of intelligence. It is a test of patience. Most people do not fail because the math is difficult. They fail because waiting is uncomfortable. They want results before the process has time to work. Excuses are immediate. Patience is deliberate. When progress feels slow, the mind looks for reasons to quit. The salary is too small. The market is unpredictable. Expenses are unavoidable. Timing is not ideal. These thoughts feel reasonable, but they are often disguised impatience. Patience accepts reality without surrendering responsibility. If you earn a modest income, your path may take longer. That is not injustice. That is mathematics. Smaller contributions require more time to compound. Complaining about the timeline does not change the formula. Instead of asking why it is slow, Ask whether it is consistent. Consistency over years produces outcomes that intensity over months never will. Saving a fixed amount every month may not feel powerful. After 1 year, the results seem minor. After 5 years, they become noticeable. After 10, they become significant. The difference between those who succeed and those who stall is not opportunity, it is endurance. Excuses protect the ego. Patience builds the future. It is easier to blame circumstances than to confront habits. It is easier to say investing is risky than to admit spending is uncontrolled. It is easier to postpone saving than to reduce lifestyle. Patience requires emotional stability. Markets will decline. Unexpected expenses will arise. Friends may appear to advance faster. In those moments, excuses will feel persuasive. You remind yourself that wealth is built quietly. Patience does not mean passivity. You continue learning. You continue improving skills. You look for ways to increase income gradually. But you do not abandon discipline because results are not dramatic. Delayed gratification is a competitive advantage in a world addicted to immediacy. When you invest regularly and allow compounding to work, time becomes your ally. Each year adds momentum. Each contribution strengthens the base. The progress may be invisible at first, but it accumulates beneath the surface. Many people quit just before acceleration begins. They underestimate how exponential growth behaves. Early stages look flat. Later stages rise sharply. Only patience allows you to reach that inflection point. Excuses focus on obstacles. Patience focuses on trajectory. You may not control your starting point. You control your persistence. You control spending habits. You control investment consistency. These small decisions repeated over long periods reshape financial outcomes. Building 10K without a high salary is not dramatic. It is methodical. It requires resisting comparison. It requires ignoring short-term noise. It requires trusting disciplined behavior more than temporary emotion. Patience transforms ordinary effort into meaningful wealth. Excuses transform ordinary challenges into permanent stagnation. Choose endurance over explanation. Choose steady action over emotional reaction. Over time, patience compounds into confidence, stability, and freedom.